is universal foundation that can be custom blended to any color, light or dark, really the crazy thing? Or is the crazy thing really going into a store and trying to pick your color out of 72 options? I'm going to show you that it's truly universal, and I'm going to show you how dynamic this foundation is and all of the things it can do, from covering tattoos, covering under eye circles, to being buffed out to a shiny finish, or blended with moisturizer to create more of a BB cream or CC cream. We're gonna explore all the things that this foundation can do with the lightener and the darkener, and it also comes with a setting powder. So let's get into it. We are several shades apart from each other. This is my daughter, Georgia, and we're gonna put this right on her cheek. Obviously too dark, right? It does not require anything more than just a few little taps of our lightener, and you can play around with this until you know exactly how much to do. But that is going to blend out to be the perfect color for Georgia, while I am kind of in the middle, and this is kind of the perfect color for me. Let's give her just a touch more of the lightener, although that would absolutely work as well. I think making her a tiny bit more tan would not be such a bad thing. Her arms are a little darker than her chest and her neck. All right, so there we go. We have a nice match. Well, let's cover a little bit of redness here. So we have a lovely match on Georgia. It could be blended better, but we're getting there, right?
That looks good.
All right, let's bring in your darker sister, shall we?
Okay.
Okay. I was about to show you that I can then do the same thing with my oldest daughter originally by putting this on and adding a little bit of the darkener, but we just tried it and it's not even necessary. This is such a good medium. It's such a good neutral that it is the perfect color for my skin. It also happens to be the perfect color for her skin. It's super, super flexible, but if your skin was much darker, you could definitely add a few little touches of the darkener. So you saw Georgia's ivory skin. I have more yellow undertones. Tabitha has a few more pink undertones, at least in her face. And yet the foundation works beautifully on her too. It's just that good. Now I'm going to show you the underpainting option that this works so beautifully with this whole set. You can underpaint your highlights and your contour and then go over it with the foundation. Or you can put on your foundation and then do your highlight and contour on top of that. You can also use other products. You can use silicone right on top of these cream products. They work beautifully together. I'm gonna blend out a little bit of this highlight. Give myself some contour here. And then go right over it with the foundation. And you might think, gosh, it's just going to cover it right up. But what ends up happening is that it just looks super natural. It's very subtle. It looks like you blended your makeup a lot more than you blended your makeup. It's almost like pre-blending. So you can see I've got the color here, I've got the highlight here, and yet everything looks pretty much just like real skin. There's no seams. On the other side, I'm gonna show you how this foundation can be buffed out to a shine. This is something that is very tricky to see. It's a subtle difference on video, but the last time I did it, I had several of you tell me that you really could see the difference. So while I love the Siren brush and its efficiency, I really love a flat topped brush also. And so if you will take this foundation, if you have large pores, this motion right here, circles back and forth, is going to fill in your pores, kind of like spackle. And it also buffs the wax in the foundation out to a much more durable finish, and it has a little bit more of a sheen to it. So when I have the time and I feel like it's worth it, I will take the time to buff the foundation. You really want high friction, low pressure when you're doing this. I didn't apply any up here. I'm just trying to show you, in one small area what it can do, because I'm going to do something different on my forehead. And then we can go over that and then highlight on top. You would just use a little bit less product if you're gonna do the highlighting on top. But because none of these really have a high alcohol content, you have this endless blendability. And that's why pro makeup artists have used cream products forever. It's just what they use. No self-respecting makeup artist is pulling out a silicone foundation in a high need time. Like if it's just a daily look for somebody, that's one thing, but for a bride or for camera purposes, even for photo purposes, makeup artists are going to rely on creams. It's the wax component, honestly, that just makes it that much better. I'm going to wipe this off a little bit. I want to give myself just a couple of dots to do some contour. It looks like I'm rubbing my face really hard, but I promise I'm not doing any damage. And so you can kind of see the difference here. Like this one looks a little bit more blended. This one looks like traditional makeup. Like you put some contour on, you put highlighter on, and you can kind of see the different pieces and elements where this just looks magical. So is underpainting worth it? Absolutely. Is this the world's first underpainting set? Possibly. Now, if I wanted this foundation to look a little bit more like a filter type product or a BB cream or CC cream, I can put it on and then add a little bit of moisturizer to my brush and some glow drops. You've got one of these liquid highlighter thingies, you know what they are. They come in and every brand has some version of these. They're all kind of the same. You put those little glow drops on there. That might be a little too much moisturizer for the amount that I'm doing, which is just this little amount on my forehead. We're gonna blend that out right onto the skin. You could do this on a palette also, of course, if you don't like the idea of blending it on your skin, or if you're just afraid to do it. But if you're having dates with yourself and you're practicing your makeup, then you should be, look at the glow. So that's gonna give you a little less coverage, a little obviously more glow, and just kind of a totally different look. So really just trying to highlight how incredibly versatile this foundation is. And if serious coverage is what you need for rosacea, for acne, for things like that, this foundation is extremely versatile in that direction as well. I'm going to cover a little bit of my tattoo here. Just with the foundation by itself, it's not, it's going to take several layers to cover it, but I will show you that if I white it out first, then we get an even better coverage. So we'll just cover another little part of it here with the light concealer. Tap it out until it's dry, which means that if you take a clean finger and you touch it, nothing's coming away. We're still getting some feedback on that finger. So I'm gonna go in and do that one more time. We'll tap it, then we'll set it with powder, and then we'll put the foundation on top, and we'll have a whole different level of coverage. So you can do this under your eyes if it's really necessary. You can do this to bruising on your face if you've had plastic surgery, things like that. This takes obviously a little bit more practice, but you can trust that it's going to work because there is no secrets going on here and no editing. So now I just go right over the top of that, and I'm going to get almost complete and total coverage with no finesse. I mean, I would sit here, if this was somebody's face, I would sit here and finesse it quite a bit to make sure I can still see a tiny bit peeking through. So we could do another layer or just layer it up right on top of the places where that tattoo is actually peeking through if you've got a tiny brush and lots of patience. For my next trick, I'm going to cover her under eye circles, and we're going to start with the foundation just in like a normal way that we would apply it to the face. Okay, so we're just going to put it on. We're not applying it just to the eye area or anything like that. Just if we were covering this cheek, we'll put foundation all over the cheek. All right, so we've knocked out quite a bit of color there already, but then when we highlight and contour, you're gonna see that basically the bag goes away. So there's a little bit of highlight. Okay, you can see a huge difference here. Under eye circle, definite improvement from over here.